they will normally ban if Lyra or Cath isn't banned, Vox, but Vox won't be banned here, so probably a jungler, so Scarf is going to be the one that they decide to ban, which is interesting because I feel like Baron works well into Scarf, and we've seen that happen with last week's results.
I think they may have been worried about Qlash picking up the Scarf to go with the Idris, because then you have that all-in engage with that really massive backline damage as well, so I think that's why the Scarf ban comes out, but this just allows Qlash to go ahead and take that Grace, and Grace works well into Baron, and works phenomenally well with an Idris. So
yeah,
Qlash is almost, I'm almost willing to say right now already that Qlash has won this draft.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying, like, they normally like ban away a captain like Cath or something, and I'm surprised that they did not pick the Grace here and they picked the jungler. And now I think they lost draft because Baron is Grace and Idris is so strong. I mean, Idris is going to be able to survive and stay in a backline, but they are going for that late game composition like I talked about because that's what they're good at. So they're going with Skye, and then Qlash is going to finish off with the Samuel here. So it's a very interesting composition. Skye does counter the Grace. They both do really well late game, so it's going to be based on how they're going to outplay each other here.
Yeah, and once again, we're seeing this Baron Skye combo. This is something that has been being seen a lot more commonly. I think a lot of it is down to the interaction with Grace, right? You pick Grace because it's good into Baron, then you pick Skye because it's good into Grace, and it's kind of like, often with these drafts, it's a little bit of kind of rock, paper, scissors in, oh, you pick this, so we pick this to counter it, but then they pick that to counter it, and it's kind of back and forth like that. How are we feeling about the draft so far then going on into this game?
I still really like the draft that Qlash has. I think just Idris Grace is such a strong duo. You throw a Samuel into the mix as well, it's a very difficult team to kill unless you can get everything focused onto the Idris. But if you do that, he's just going to get Divine Interventions coming out. And so there's a tough matchup for the side of Fnatic, but if a Baron gets online, if he gets that 4-item spike, and they can focus down a target, get the Divine Intervention out early, and then try and switch targets or something of the sort, maybe there's a chance there, but I think Qlash definitely has the draft.
All right, really quickly, Sweet J.
Qlash has early game, mid game power spike. Samuel, Grace is strong early. Also, Samuel and Idris have the biggest power spikes mid game. Late game, Fnatic wins for sure. So let's see what Fnatic does with the late game piece.
Well, we've seen Fnatic lean towards the late game in general, as they like to play the early game often quite passively. We'll see if that's going to be the case. They seem to vary their play style. Let's see whether Qlash can take the upset here. They've got a good draft, but it's time to jump into the game. Hashtag Vainglory8 to let us know who you're supporting on Twitter. But it's time to throw it to our casters and get on into our first quarterfinal to decide some of our seeding.
Thank you very much, Munchables, and ladies and gentlemen, Fnatic vs. Qlash. Welcome to the Halcyon Fold. We are ready to get this game underway. I'm here with Denominate, aka D-Money, and to start things off, HF Guy, already playing some games here. He's taken this very fast Grace into the opponents early on, and he's gonna actually get rooted up here. Denominate, I didn't even expect this to happen here. HF Guy, you're gonna go down, net booting forward. In Europe, are they going to give us a tasty little first blood treat? Yes, they are. You guys, welcome to the game. That's your first blood. Denominate, you didn't even have a chance to say anything.
Didn't have a chance to say anything because the action was so quick there. Graces we do typically see be very aggressive. I don't think he was quite ready for all three of the members of Fnatic to be there, and it paid with his life, and now they're going in on Agony.
Yeah, Agony taking a bunch of damage. HF Guy, he's gonna jump in with the Benediction. Agony trying to juke around. He finds the kill. Should go down to Palmatoro. Palmatoro, he's in a rough place, but there's no boots. Can you get out of here? HF Guy actually may be able to catch up. Let's see. He's gonna kite it back. Benediction in and takes him down. HF Guy.
This is definitely one of the quickest starts to an EU game I've seen in a while. HF Guy being very aggressive, but Palmatoro was absolutely beautiful on his engage as well. So gonna have to see. Skye is still in her really glory state. Very aggressive hero, can really do well at all parts of the game, specifically into the late game. So it's gonna be all about Palmatoro getting online here, as well as Techno JJ really playing for that late game aggression.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how it plays out. Net and Palma making their way up from the jungle towards lane. Impale lands, but Merciless with the Shimmer Strike, they're doing a good job. And HF Guy buying a bit of time, so a little bit of damage put out here by Fnatic. Expect them to make these rotations up. They can't find the kill, but not really a problem for them right now. Agony, though, what's the rotation going to be here? He's going to be impaled up. Forward barrage is going to connect. Palma trying to straight make it happen. Holy Nova misses towards the top side of that fight as Agony kites back. Malice and Verdict coming through. Benediction from HF Guy. The Drifting Darks down. D-Money, they're going on to Net. Net with the two-man getting one, but Techno from the lane comes down. They've traded 1 for 1. Now HF Guy on the run. Palmatoro gets his target lock, and he's going to move forward. This should be a dead Grace. Rest in peace.
7 kills in, just 3 minutes into this game before going on over to Fnatic, and this is pretty interesting that Fnatic is taking the early game the way they are. I really expected the Samuel hitting level 2 and Mercilli's on the Idris to really try to push with HF Guy, and it just hasn't worked out that way yet. We obviously need to get some gold onto Idris before he's able to take off, and we have HF Guy now working towards a fountain, but it looks like we might be getting ready to have a fight down here in the jungle.
More fighting, this time over the Elder Treant right now. They're going to drop aggro as it moves back over towards the side of Fnatic. Let's see if this is going to play out here. Yeah, I wonder, Denominate, like, how much of this has to do with the fact that it's the last week of regular season here for the Vainglory 8, that these teams are going to come out and they're like, dude, let's just play. I mean, both these teams, they're sitting in a great place right now overall. Of course, Fnatic sitting up at the top of the leaderboard in points. They got to feel really comfortable here.
I think realistically they both feel comfortable here. Obviously, hold on, we got a little bit of fight going on.
Yeah, Impale, Suri strike in. No problem here for Mercilli's.
Yeah, no follow-up. The Shroud Step does get him out. Both of these teams have to be feeling pretty comfortable, though, because they are locked in, basically, to go to the championship. Obviously, Fnatic being up at the top right now, they're feeling really comfortable. But for the side of Qlash, you know, they need to pick up some points this week so they can really try to improve their seeding. They are locked in to go. We will see them at the Unified Finals, but definitely looking to pick up a couple more points here so they can maybe work on getting an easier start to their bracket moving into those championships in LA.
It's very exciting stuff. Looking forward barrage coming out here from Palmatoro as he catches Agony down in the jungle. Net continues to throw those flares out, has vision over the tri-brush, so important. These guys, I mean, while they're playing aggressively, they're still taking the proper precautions.
They're definitely, you know, playing a little bit on the cautious side. Palmatoro is coming into the lane to try to find Mercilli's, though.
Yeah, he's alright. Mercilli's just continuously trying to farm. He's got that book of eulogies, right? So he's just getting his last hit sustains, but with 3 here from Fnatic, the pressure does start to actually build up. Forward barrage just coming from the top side this time. Palmatoro is just really trying to look for that perfect angle, apply some of that forward barrage damage, and then get back to his jungle as quickly as possible.
Yep, and Agony now, level 6, saves the basic attack, that Corrupted Genius, getting the farm in his pocket. Oblivion now will be online, so this is really an opportunity for Agony to really have a big effect in these team fights. He can use that ult to potentially zone the enemy from running away, could get a good sleep down onto Palmatoro, which would allow Mercilli's to get a heavy engage, and obviously the Drifting Dark just does so much damage with those empowered Malice and Verdicts.
Yeah, so much damage can come out there. And of course, the Frostburn first, he's going to have a little bit more utility than damage if he had gone in another build here. Actually, impale into the Githing. Well, Palmatoro really not quite connecting with the full damage. He wasn't target locked there. Jump jets back from Techno. So, we have Qlash moving forward here. Now, Qlash, I think they're doing a good job thus far. The net worth pretty even, 6 minutes in. It's 4-3 in favor of Fnatic, but Qlash hanging in there. Agony making an aggressive play. Palmatoro almost a full forward barrage connecting with the Suri. The death from above cut his path off, but Agony healing up. Now he's on the aggressive. Palmatoro, he's under the safety of his Crystal Sentry. Let's see, Mercilli's drops down. Net tries to steal it from over the top, coming down with the NPL over the wall. And Qlash are going to get out of this one. It really looked like Palmatoro had the advantage in the beginning.
Well, he did, and HF Guy actually did burn the Fountain of Renewal onto saving Agony there. So that is now a cooldown for the side of Qlash, and Netwalat still has that available to him. And really what Qlash needs to do here is they need to abuse these rotations from Samuel a little bit better. They had a good opportunity to push a wave into turret and have the siege come out of Samuel, and they just didn't take advantage of it.
On 3 here, that's going to be the Impale missing, but the Iron Cannon's down. Fnatic trying to make a play, but Net's getting lit up. Net has to self-found, and Palma dropping low as well. Mercilli's, he's getting in there. The death from above is going to scare Qlash, though. I can understand why when Baron connects with a couple of attacks there. Agony dropping low. And what it seemed like, it seemed to me like Qlash could have jumped in for a fight there, Denominate, but they didn't.
It was a little risky. Agony did get dropped very, very low. Obviously, you talked about the zoning death from above was beautiful, but Sky, again, doesn't need that target lock in this patch as much as she does going into 2.7, so that unlocked forward barrage still chunked Agony out pretty quickly, as well as, obviously, the damage coming in from this Baron. But again, realistically here, Qlash has a composition that should be able to push the lane very heavily, should be able to aggress the lane and prevent Baron from being able to get farm, and they're just not doing it. So as this game gets later and later, I'm gonna have to start leaning more and more on the side of Fnatic.
Leaning on Fnatic. Alright, Fnatic, do not let Dean Money down. I don't want to have him disappointed here today. Fnatic has 3, moving up into the lane. Impale actually connecting Mercillius once again, just repositioning back, but if that root catches you, you know, like you reposition, but you're still rooted in place there.
Yeah, it does still provide the root, which is pretty nice. It will give Palmatoro and Tetna JJ an opportunity to, if that happens, get some damage down. But oh, here we go.
Agony rooted, they jump forward, look at the blow Agony up. Is he gonna go down? Divine Intervention keeps him alive. Denominate. You can thank HF guy later. Palmatoro gets turned around on, and Team Qlash take one down from Fnatic.
Beautiful, beautiful Divine Intervention from HF guy there, saving Agony just on the edge of his life, that damage reduction doing so much work. And this is the opportunity now for Qlash to put some damage down on this turret. Looks like they might be aiming for Tetno JJ though, and that's a lot of lost damage here onto this first turret as well. 9 minutes in, only having it down around a quarter of its health is definitely a little bit behind where you want to be with Samuel.
Agony taking the mids away, but kind of dodging out Net's Impale as he moves down through the jungle. Looks like Agony might just go for a little bit of a jungle rotation here. But as you said, yeah, it feels like an opportunity maybe being missed there. I mean, is that a big deal for them, or is that just something that we're noticing?
It definitely is a big deal. Samuel, when going into ranged heroes, really just needs to be more of a siege hero. He functions really, really well onto melee heroes who have to be in the front of his damage to try to make an engage, and that's not something we have. We have a Sky, we have a Baron. The only one you're really going to be able to find easy damage on is Netcolette, so you should be using your aggression to help Mercillius push the wave. Some good splash damage down there, though.
Really good splash damage coming out. Agony. You know, the best Samuels, I think they'll move up. They just throw Drifting Dark right across that angle as you come into the brush there. And immediately the Mouse is connecting onto 3. Very beautiful stuff. And with this Qlash, look to apply some pressure onto Fnatic. But moving down towards the jungle, flares are out from HF guy. They see Palmatoro, but Agony will snipe away the mid right in front of Palma. Doesn't feel too good, man.
It doesn't, and fortunately they are taking a little bit of an advantage. Only a couple hundred gold right now, but getting Agony into that late game Samuel build is definitely going to be important. Again, every time we get this rotation up, though, he's trying to find damage and just hasn't been able to find damage on the turret because he's been aiming for Tetno JJ, trying to force him out of the lane. And once he's forced behind turret, you should really just, you know, the Chakrams do a lot of damage onto that objective, as well as the Empowered Malice and Verdicts that you can literally sit there and spam because of the quicker cooldown of the Drifting Dark. But, oh man, a good route from Net.
Yeah, 2-man Impale. He tries to land the Githian wall as well, but suddenly Qlash are on the run. That Drifting Dark just comes out really quick from Agony. That's going to be on cooldown. We'll see how this is going to play out. HF guy, Benediction onto Palmatoro. What's the play? Net finds an Impale on the top side. Ion Cannon's coming down. Forward Barrage melting through Qlash. What are you going to do? Super Strike buying a little bit of time. Mercillius, he's on a Tetno, trying to can't take him down. Tetno's got the damage. They move forward. They find a stun onto Agony. Agony's down. Double kill for Fnatic. And this is what we're talking about. A little bit of EU Vainglory 8 in the morning. Beautiful stuff.
That's been a pretty interesting game to watch so far, and now Fnatic is going to take this opportunity to push the turret. One of the really big things that happened in that last fight was HF guy actually used the Divine Intervention onto Mercillius to get him that health, get him that protection. Mercillius used the Shimmer Strike at the same time, so unfortunately we didn't actually get the healing or damage reduction out of HF guy. So it was really a wasted Fountain and Divine Intervention in that last fight. If they would have made it onto Mercillius, that fight could have turned very, very quickly, but, you know, Fnatic played it really, really well. HF guy aggressed by himself, and a good route on the backline from Net was able to get a lot of damage down from Tetno JJ with having Mercillius stuck in one spot.
Man, that seems like a really big deal. And you gotta wonder if that comes down to just panic. or miscommunication, maybe a little bit of both. Actually, Agony rooted up, stunned, they come through, 508 damage, they're locked, on Divine Intervention buys them another second, but of course they will lose to Agony. Fnatic on the chase now, Net knocking HF guy back, Benediction just gonna buy some time. How about death from above rains down upon HF guy? And there's nothing Mercedes can do, he just watches in horror.
Yeah, you don't want to be in a 1v3 situation with a Baron and a Sky for sure, especially since Palmatoro actually has that broken myth complete now. 13 minutes into the game, they are going to clean up this gold mine and bring a 3,000 gold lead into their pockets, as well as Palmatoro trying to get some of this farm and extend that lead a little bit more, as well as top his energy off. This is, really the point of the game. Now Baron has his 4th item complete, that he is going to be a absolutely crazy damage threat in this game. You have to be careful not to group up here if you are Qlash. If you want to find a victory throughout the rest of this game, we can't have both carries standing on top of each other.
I don't know why I just imagine them standing on each other's heads when you said that, but so what is the best fight that Qlash could take, right? Because you're saying right now Baron's hitting that power spike, they can't clone up. We know what they can't do. What should they do?
Well, I mean, realistically for Mercedes and HF guy, obviously they have to get into that backline. They have to either find a clear shot of damage onto either Palmatoro or Techno JJ. And Agony really needs to fight around the edge of the fight. He needs to drop a good drifting dark that allows him to shift his position around the edge so that he's not always throwing those Malice and Verdicts right into Nettoilette, because that's not who you want to get the damage onto. But Palmatoro getting some forward barrage damage down here.
At this point, like you can really apply this damage fairly easily to Nominate. It appears, every time that they kind of see just a glimpse of Qlash, they'll move through and they just kind of strafe and you catch 1 or 2 of them, you build up some broken myth stacks. Suddenly, it's a really scary situation to be in.
It is a really scary situation to be in, and one thing I do want to point out about these builds here is Nettoilette on Lance has actually gone for an Echo, so it's going to be really interesting in these fights to see what he uses on. I think it's very likely going to be on the Githian wall. So Lance functions very closely to a Catherine into Idris. Idris obviously having to dive the back line to get damage. But actually, here we go.
Net's on the front side here. He finds 1 stun, he finds 2. Techno finds the damage as well. An HF guy blown up. Net dropping low. Agony kiting back. Techno jumps in aggressively. 604 damage. Shimmer Strike and buying a little bit of time. But it just buys a triple kill for Techno JJ. What a monster.
Yeah, this Baron, 4 items in, 15 minutes now. We do have the Kraken on the board, and Fnatic, no questions asked, is going to go ahead and start that up as Techno JJ pushes this lane. We're at the point that Baron is just going to be so difficult to kill. Obviously, he has the anti-crowd control on his jump jets. That's going to be able to get him in and out of fights easily. Palmatoro now has the Eve of Harvest, going to help with that energy regeneration as well as the sustain on this Sky. And again, Nettoilette with this Echo, really going to be looking to make sure Mercedes cannot safely engage onto either of the carries for Fnatic. Again, it'll very likely be used on the Githian wall, really just to keep Mercedes back away from Baron, because that's where Idris is good into Baron. But here we go, we gotta fight.
Jump for they're lighting them up, D-Money! They take Agony down in just a matter of moments. Techno, another jump jet sport. Mercedes, he's gotta trade. It's his only option. He can't stand his ground. He's down. Fnatic have taken 2. And the Kraken just now joins the party, takes the last hit on the choke point turret. And I gotta say, man, this looks like the end here for Qlash.
This should, by all rights, be Fnatic's game. We still have death timers for Agony and Mercedes, and the Kraken is basically full health onto this Vayne. That is going to be game number 1 now for Fnatic, going on over and looking to really extend their first place lead.
I feel like the only chance Qlash would have had, maybe if you play things differently, but if he could do this Divine Intervention on the Vayne Crystal, maybe they have a chance here. That was quite the showing out of Fnatic. Very impressive stuff here in game 1. And is the pace. I think this is going to have a nice pace to this series. This is going to be a great day of Vainglory.